connected. And Myanmar is also one of the biggest country in a Southeast Asian country. It was according to the land side, it was one of the biggest country, but the biggest country in a Southeast Asia is Indonesia. But the Indonesia has so many islands that is not the land only. And coming to the history part, that is you will see that in a Southeast Asian country, most of the tradition are similarly connected because of the once there was an empire of the Vietnam Empire. We call it the Vietnam Empire because of the Vietnam Empire and Myanmar, Thai, and Laos and Cambodia. Those traditions are also connected with the Southeast Asian, and their dress are also similar. And where do Myanmar start from? The Myanmar start from the Pagan Kingdom. That is the Pagan Kingdom, the first Myanmar kingdom, and the kingdom is the city is still now existing. In the city, there are a lot of thousands of, I might say the 10,000 of the pagoda, and if the country in a peace right now, I recommend to visit in here because that's the most interesting the archaeology side, and there are a lot of temples. Okay, now we're going back to that. This is the Myanmar alphabet. We call it Burmese alphabet. We use with the cycle and also just the cycle, but that is we use in the alphabet. Okay. Okay. Coming to the culture. Now we're going to the culture, and we have in the Myanmar we have the major ethnic there are 8 major ethnic. They are called Bama, Shan, Karen, Yakai, Mon, Kachin, and Shan. They are major 8 ethnic groups, and there are total of the 135 ethnic groups. There are a lot of ethnic groups in a small country, so basically we are one of the most diversity in but people always count the United States as the most diverse country because of the immigration and refugee and something. But even though we don't have the refugee or something like that, we do have the 135 ethnic groups in a small country. That is a lot of diversity we can see. And then coming to the nature resources, our country is famous with the nature resources because of we have a rich nature resources like jade, ruby, sapphire, and also rare earth. Okay, coming to the jade, we produce in a jade history we produce 70 to 90% of the world jade coming from this area. That's a small area in the Paga state, Paga area. That we produce all the jade from that. Right now, China is importing all of the world that's coming from this just a small area, and it produces the finest jade in this side, and then you can see that this is the 210 tons of this jade. This jade is just what a billion.
How do you pronounce that? The name of the country? Or the city-state?
City, that's called Paga.
Paga?
Yes.
Okay.
And coming to the jade, and another one is we produce 90% of ruby from the small area called Mogul City. That is, at first I thought that it produced 30% or something like that, but when I researched something more, it produced 90% of the ruby, the whole world. There's a lot. But nobody knows where's Myanmar because we can't control our market, and because this country is in a unstable situation right now. Okay, right now the rare earth is so much popular. Looking at the map of the Myanmar right now, we can see a lot of the rare coming from the side, and especially in this part. This is the part we call the Kachin state. So if we produce a lot of the rare earth, so basically the civil war is happening in here. country is in a stable situation in this part, in this part, and in this part. That only. And then the rest is just kind of the state because there's no resources in this area. Okay. Another one is the tick. Have you ever heard of the tick word? That is the hardest word in the world, and we use in a shape and also the archaeology and like the statue or something like that. It's famous for its water resistance because it can last long for 100 or 20, 100 years old, but the strength of the wood is still remain the same. So basically, they use in a shape and also the statue to remain for the overall time, like history. Okay. Now coming to this part. We have so many, aside from those jade, ruby, and rare earth and thick wood, we still have the oils and natural gas that is only imported to the China right now. And if the country is the stable situation and a peaceful situation right now, we don't even have to take them from the oils from the other country. But right now, we still have to take from resources from the other country. Because of the why our country is still poor and like the unstable situation. Because of actually Myanmar was once a colony of the British government, and then we got the independence from the 1948. And as soon as we got the independence, the civil war started coming, and the civil war coming from all the ethnic group area, and we call it the colorful rivers, and they call it colorful river. But the other hand, they call it revolutionary. It was sad because, and after that, the Myanmar military government they want to occupy the whole country. They don't want to give the federal democracy like they promised to give to the ethnic groups, but they didn't give it all. And right now, they did it again. Military dictatorship right now. They are controlling the dictatorship, and they formed the state administration council, and now they're going to do the presidential and election too. Okay, we're looking back to the history. After we got the independence from 1948, the revolutionaries start coming, and the country went to the unstable state. And if we look into the map, and we can see that there are 5 stars, the small 5 star, and in the middle there's the biggest star. Like the meaning is depending on the map. They give the ethnic groups to a small area part, and the Myanmar military, the Burma group, and they got the biggest area. So also too in the map, they make the biggest star. So they are dominant over other ethnic groups, and they promised to give the federal government, but when we got the independence, they changed it to the Socialist Union of Burma. They call it that is not unfair to the other state, and they just want to dominate other state. So the revolutionaries start from that time, and that was so severe, and they had to change their flag again. They had to change their flag again, and that's 1974 to 2010. So they divide at first we got a small 5 star, and in the middle that's the biggest 1 star. But they couldn't accept the civil war and the protesting and something like that, so they just show it to the civilian that they are giving the equality star, like the small star from all the state. And we see the Myanmar military have the biggest star, have the biggest state, and they divide it into 7 divisions. So basically, we have the major 8 ethnic group, and they give to the small ethnic group to the 7 star, and the Burmese get the 7 star too. So that is not unfair for the other state, and they seem like, oh, that is not fair. And also Actually, this part of the Burma state, and they changed to the 7th division and 7th state. Basically, if we name this state as the state, so they are the ethnic groups, and a division they name as the Burma state. That's the basically they just segregate between the ethnic groups and the majority of the Burma. So if I'm coming from the Kachin state and oh you are one of the ethnic groups, they treat that I like us segregation, but we are the most diverse, one of the most diverse country in the world, and unlike the United States, we can't do anything. The racism and kind of the racism word or something like they are just daily using of word and even using in a workplace or something like we can't do anything. There's no legal protection to the people, and like we can say everything we want, and there's no protection at all. And upcoming to the 1988, that is the most severe protesting because of the stock market crash. So the whole suffer from the business crashing, and unfortunately, 1988 there was a major protesting in the three of the Asian countries. The first is the Korea, China, and Burma. But three of those countries, only the Korean was born protesting, and China and Myanmar was protesting to become the democracy. And when they protest at the